Alexandria Ocasio Cortez came out recently and said that on the border what we had were concentration camps, and all hell broke loose. We had Jewish organizations that attacked her. We had the Republicans who we know attacked her. They love to use her as a punching bag. And then we had some Democrats that came out. And I was disappointed in Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders didn't criticize her, but he didn't come in support of her. But Nadler, Congressman Nadler, sent a tweet out and defended her, and he is sumamente calificado to speak about that issue, and he did. By definition, a concentration camp is a place where a large number of people, such as prisoners of war, political prisoners, refugees, or the members of an ethnic or religious minority, are detained or confined under armed guard, used especially in reference to camps created by the Nazis in World War II for the internment and persecution of Jews and others, but not restricted to that. We have a tendency not to believe that we are capable of doing those things to people, or if somebody mentions that, it destroys the cred that we normally have in the world about being the land of freedom, the honorable people that can do no wrong. The truth sometimes, it hurts the system. It makes the system that once was revered look like, oh my God, it just may be in fact that she's right. A fascist system that is supported itself by the plutocracy. MSNBC's Chris Hayes came in support of Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. He was intellectually honest. After being attacked, he fell right in line. Depressing. But Chuck Todd tried to give this an air of morality. I want you to listen to how Chuck Todd handled this subject. This is definitely a system that is trying to bring down this woman for a particular reason. She tells the truth. People believe her, and if she gets traction, the inhumanity of the administration, the inhumanity of the system itself, not just the Trump administration, but the inhumanity of the system will be called out to those, even those who haven't recognized it. But let's go ahead and deconstruct exactly what Chuck Todd did, because what he did was dangerous. It was extremely dangerous because what he did was put words in her mouth and said things she didn't say. But here we go.
Welcome back. Tonight I'm obsessed with what's happening at our southern border. You can call our government's detention of migrants many things, depending on how you see it. It's a stain on our nation, maybe, a necessary evil to others, a deal with untenable situation, perhaps. But do you know what you can't call it? Take a listen.
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border, and that is exactly what they are. They are concentration camps.
That was obviously New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio Cortez on Instagram. For being criticized, Ocasio Cortez tried to make a distinction between concentration camps and Nazi death camps, where the industrialized mass slaughter of the Holocaust occurred. Fair enough, but Congresswoman, tens of thousands were also brutalized, tortured, starved, and ultimately died in concentration camps. Camps like Dachau. If you want to criticize the shameful treatment of people at our southern border, fine. You'll have plenty of company, but be careful comparing them to Nazi concentration camps, because they're not.
See how he made that segue? Be careful making the comparison with Nazi concentration camps. She never did that. So then why should you make that claim? Secondly, by definition of concentration camps, she is 100% correct, and she is right to give it the urgency that it needs. But you see, in America, other people, when other peoples are mistreated, it's not all that bad, or let's not talk about it too much. Let it happen to an American, and specifically you know whom. It is always then a big issue. When Bush came and he bombed Panama and he killed Panamanians indiscriminately, Colin Powell called it collateral damage. Think about that. Think about the people who have to hear that about themselves. So let's be careful here.
Comparable in the slightest. But here's where it's upsetting as her comments. Some Democrats have been reluctant to condemn her remarks. They only get criticized on Twitter. Fellow New York Congressman Jerry Nadler tweeted in response, "One of the lessons from the Holocaust is never again. We fail to learn that lesson when we don't call out such inhumanity right in front of us." Jerry Nadler surely knows migrant detainment camps are not the same as concentration camps. So why didn't
He did not say it's the same as the Nazi concentration camps at all. He never said that. But he's absolutely correct. We must stop treating people inhumanely. And he's absolutely never again. And what we are doing is doing it again.
Why are we so sheepish calling out people we agree with politically these days? Obviously, this isn't a Democratic Party thing. It's an even bigger problem on the Republican side of the aisle when it comes to President Trump and the reluctance there. Are we really so ensconced in our political bubbles, liberal versus conservative, that we cannot talk about right versus wrong anymore? Some things are big.
Now, do you see what he's doing there? He's trying to create a false equivalency. But it's worse than that, because what he wanted to do is give plausibility to his arguments against Ocasio Cortez, who is a progressive liberal Democrat. He wanted to say, oh, but I am balanced. And you see how I even said the way the Republicans are doing it, it's even worse. But he wasn't talking about Republicans calling anything concentration camps or anything. He's trying to malign Alexandria Ocasio Cortez and the faction of progressives that think like her.
Than partisanship, or at least they used to be. And in the interim, the crux of what's truly at stake is lost. What is this country going to do about what's happening at the border in this humanitarian crisis? We'll get to that at some point, I guess, after we've had this debate. But no doubt Alexandria Ocasio Cortez cares deeply about what's happening at the border. But she just did the people there a tremendous disservice by distracting from.
She didn't do a disservice. She kept it in the news, and she's telling the truth about what's happening. They are being placed in concentration camps. And now, because she is making that an issue, and because reporters likely from around the world are going to come over here and try and make an attempt to see what these places look like, she is doing exactly what she needs to do to make sure that we keep the cameras on the concentration camps on the south of our borders.
She said she didn't use those words lightly. And neither did I.
There is Chuck Todd trying to sound magnanimous. She said she didn't use those words lightly, and neither did I. Well, I mean, you kind of spoke from either being handled or not understanding what inhumane treatment is. It's amazing how the system comes together, how it fuses together to defend itself. Alexandria Ocasio Cortez at this point in time needs the support of progressives, needs the support of all people who believe in humanity. She needs the support of people who are willing to tell things the way they are. She needs the support of progressives so that we don't do what we normally do and have to come back 50 years later and find out that what we did, in fact, was tantamount. And I don't want to call it war crimes, but you don't treat humans the way we're treating humans at the border. Friends, please click the button here and subscribe to the channel. That is how we get the message out.